What if I told you that in just 8 hours, I built a fully functional learning management system from scratch using Python, KivyMD, Matplotlib, and Postgres? This system has it all: teacher, student, and parent profiles, a powerful admin dashboard, live charts for income versus expenses, student statistics, and even full CRUD functionality for everything from classes to exam results. And the best part, you can build it too. This step-by-step tutorial will guide you through the entire process. You can customize it, expand it, or even launch it as your own product. So grab your coffee, open your code editor, and let's build something amazing together. So here is what we're going to build, right? We have a dashboard, right? So on our dashboard, you can see the amount of students we have here, the amount of teachers in our system, parents in our database, the amount of classes we have, right, and the total subjects that we teach, right? So this chart here shows our earnings for the year, right? It compares income and expenses, right? And this pie chart here just displays our ratio of boys to girls, right? And down here we have our announcements, right? So in our system, right, we can see our teachers here, right? We can add our teachers, we can update our teachers, and we can delete teachers, right? So we can do the same functions for students, parents, classes, subjects, down to notices, right? So this is what we're gonna build, right? Get your text editors ready and let's dive in. So inside the video description, right, I've left a link to this template folder here. So it's just labeled LMS, right? So inside here, right, first things before we explain the structure of this template folder, right, we need to deal with this requirements.txt, right? So we're gonna open our terminal, right, and say pip install -r, then requirements.txt, right, like this. So what this is going to do is just gonna pip install the Python packages that we're gonna use at first, right? Any other ones, we're just gonna be pip installing them as we go on. So for now, we're just gonna press enter, and if you don't have these packages, they're gonna be installed. So after running pip install requirements.txt, right, I'm just gonna explain the structure for our template folder, right? So at the top we have our app. This is where we're gonna have the main app, and everything else is going to be imported into this folder here, then into this ini.py file, right? So all our screens, all our custom widgets, and everything, right? Underneath that, we have assets. So inside assets, we have our fonts and our images here. Then views. So views is going to contain all our screens, right? So inside here, at first, we're just going to have home. Then we're going to have create screen.py, right? So what this does is just going to automate the whole creating all our screens for us, right? So we don't have to do the process and make the whole process lengthy. Then underneath views, we have widgets. So inside widgets, we have buttons.py. This is where we're going to put all our custom buttons. Then we have models.py. Inside models.py, we're going to put all our models. Then pop-ups, we're going to put our custom pop-ups. Tables, our custom tables. Then text field. Inside text field, right, we have text field here. So we're just gonna do a few things to our text input, our Kivy text input. Then we're just gonna call it text field. Then we have the main.py file. What the main.py file does is just gonna be running all our systems for us. So if we just run this, we should get a white screen like this. Okay. So if you see this, right, that means your system is ready and we can start working on our system, right? So I'm just gonna close this, then we can start. So the first thing we're gonna do is just gonna navigate our views folder, then home, then open home.kv. Inside the home.kv file, right here. So I'm just gonna put two comments, right? So here I'm gonna say, so this one is going to be sidebar. Let me copy this. and this one is going Control Z. Okay. So this one is going to be main window, just like this. So underneath the sidebar, comment, right, I'm gonna put a box layout like this, and I'm gonna give it some orientation of vertical. Then we'll say size int x. So when I set it to none, and we're gonna give it some width. So we're gonna give it some width of, let's say, 143 display pixels, like this. Let me just make it 125 display pixels. Then when I give it some spacing, when I set it to 10 display pixels, then when I say padding, so left and right padding, but I'm just gonna set it to 0, right? Okay. When I set it to 0, then our top and bottom padding, we're gonna set it to 10 display pixels. Then here we're gonna say we're gonna give this a background color. Here when I say color, then auto GPA. So we're gonna set this to, let's say F5 F5 F5. So it's going to be hashtag F5 F5 F5, like this. Then here when I say rectangle, size, it's going to be self.size, and pause, it's going to be self.pause, like this. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this box layout and paste it underneath our main window here, like this. Then I'm gonna get rid of the width here, size index, like this. Then I'm gonna change this to FF. So this is going to be white, right? So I'm just gonna run this and see how it looks for now. Okay. So I'm thinking of making this sidebar F1 to make it darker. Then we can just put a line between these two box layouts, and we're gonna make it like 1 display pixels in width. Then we're gonna make it a color darker than the gray we're gonna put on our sidebar. Okay, so let me just paste this here again and make this width 1 display pixels. Change this to, let's say, E9, like this, and let's run this. Okay, so now we can see that a clear difference, right? But now we're just gonna make this gray color inside our sidebar a bit darker. So this is going to be F1, like this. Okay, so let's go back to our text editor, right? So, okay, let me just create a lot of space between these two, okay? So inside our sidebar, we're gonna first create a logo here. So what we're gonna do is box layout. Then when I say size, int, and y, I'm gonna set it to none, and our height, I'm gonna set it to 40 display pixels, like this. And we're gonna give this some padding. and we're gonna set it to 5 display pixels. Then I'm gonna say canvas. You do it in here. Nah. Okay, so let's not make this display pixel 5, this padding into 5 display pixels, right? I'm just gonna say 10 display pixels on the left and on the right side. So this is going to be 0, comma, no, it should be 10 display pixels. 10 display pixels, comma, 0, like this. Then we don't need to add the color here, so let's add some spacing. So we're gonna say spacing, we're gonna set it to 10 display pixels also. So inside this box layout, I'm gonna put a box layout, and when I give this some size and x, I'm gonna set it to none, and width is going to be self.height. So this is going to be a square, right? Then we're gonna add some padding here. So we're gonna give this some padding of 5 display pixels, like this. Then we need to give it some background color. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it here. Let me just get rid of this. Okay. We need to check this inside. So we need to change this color, right? I'm gonna say FF then 4 sixes, like this. Right, so this should have a red color, reddish color. Then inside this box layout, I need to put an image. So if we navigate to our assets folder, then images, right? So we have this avatar, this loading GIF, and logo. Let me just click on it. Okay, so this is the logo we're using. Like, this is the logo for the channel. So I'm just gonna use this logo as our learning management system logo. So if we navigate back to home.kv, right? Inside, we're gonna give this image a source, and this source is going to be assets forward slash images forward slash logo underscore white dot png, like this. Then underneath the box layout, we need to put an MD label. Then we're gonna say text. Text is going to be I'm just gonna say m dash LMS. So Makuni Technologies Learning Management System. So if you have a better name for the app, you can just call it that. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say bold. Bold is equal to true, right? So I'm just gonna put a box layout here so that it's gonna push everything upwards, because I wanna run this and see how our logo is looking. Okay, so let me just run this. Okay. So let's get rid of the MT and just leave LMS, or we can just get rid of the LMS and give the MT. Then we need to make these edges rounded. So right, where is this? Here. So this needs to be a rounded rectangle. And then we're gonna give this a radius. And it's going to be 5,5,5,5, like this. Then let's get rid of this. Then I'm gonna say edge align here, and this is going to be center, like this. Okay, so let's run it again. I'm thinking of making this darker, so I'm just gonna say FF 0000, like this. Yeah, the red is way too much now. So what should I do here? Let me just make it blue. I was gonna make everything red, but I'm just gonna change the theme color to blue. Okay. So this year I'm gonna change it to 0096C7. So this is my favorite blue color. If you had seen it in our previous tutorials, just have to bear with me here. This is my favorite color. Okay, so now let's proceed. Um, yes, I need the box layout, right? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give this box layout an orientation of vertical, like this, right? And I'm gonna give this. Let's not give this any size int. So here I'm gonna say, let's just add some spacing here, and I'm gonna give it some spacing of. At first, let's just give it 5 for now, right? And if we put our navigation tabs in there, right, and everything looks okay, that's when we're just gonna add more spacing there. I'm gonna up it up to maybe 10. So for now, let's leave it like this. So now we need to navigate our widgets folder, then open patterns.py. So what we're gonna do inside this patterns.py is we're just gonna create a custom navigation tab, right? So down here, I'm gonna say class navigation tab, like this. So this is gonna inherit from toggle button behavior and a box layout, like this. So we're gonna need an icon. So we're gonna say icon is equal to string property, like this. Let me duplicate this. And this here is going to be text, like this, right? Let me control D this and control C this and paste it here. Now this should be this. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna say background normal. I'm just gonna put a empty open quotes like this. Then I'm gonna say background down. I'm gonna do the same. Then I'm gonna say background color. So this is going to be transparent. So 0,0,0,0, like this. Then I'm gonna say size and Y. I'm gonna set it to none. Then height, just gonna set it to, and first we're gonna set it to 35 display pixels. Then if we have a lot of space inside our sidebar, right, just gonna up it up to 40 display pixels, so that whenever someone's using maybe a touch screen on their desktop, right, the touch experience is gonna be better. The buttons are not gonna be so small, right? So for now, we're just gonna put it at 35 display pixels. Then let's have some spacing inside toggle buttons. So let's put it at 5 display pixels. So now we're gonna say allow no selection. I'm gonna set it to false. All right. So what we need to do now is we're just gonna add some tag, our icons, some tag, and some text. But I will need to add something that's gonna indicate like, okay, this is the toggle button that's active, right? So we're gonna add that one, and we're gonna make sure that if a toggle button state is down, right, it's gonna change the toggle button's text color. So here, let's put a box layout. Then I'm gonna give This is on size int x. We're gonna say size int x, and we're gonna set this to none like this, and we're gonna give this some width. Let's give it some width of 4 display pixels like this. All right. Then I'm gonna say canvas dot before color RGBA. So here we're gonna say it's going to be transparent, right? If the toggle button state is not down. But if the toggle state down button is down, it's gonna be blue. So we're gonna say if root dot state, so the state of the toggle button is equal to normal, right? Then else, so if the state is not normal, if the state is down, we're gonna say RGBA. So this one is going to be hashtag 0096C7 like this, right? Here when I say rounded rectangle, so size going to be self.size, and pause is going to be self.pause. Then our radius, right? So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna make it flat on the left, then kept on the right side. So when I say 0, 5, 5, 0 like this, right? So underneath this box layout, we need to add our icon. So when I say float layout like this, then size underscore int x, and I set it to none, and width, and I set it to self dot height like this. So inside this float layout, we're gonna add an MD icon like this. So our icon is going to come from root dot icon. So this icon here, all right? Then we're gonna say theme text color. I'm gonna set this to custom so that we can choose our own icon colors. So here we're gonna say text underscore color like this. So I'm gonna copy this one here, then paste it here. So we need to change this one to 1. So this is going to be black, right? Then position int. So pose int. So here when I say center X like this. So this is going to be 0.5. So this is going to be at the center going horizontally. Then when I say center Y, so it is going to be 0.5, so that it's going to be at the center going vertically, right? So underneath our float layout, I'm gonna put an MD label like this. So text is gonna come from root.text. Then when I say font style, so our font style is going to be label. Then when I set it to medium, then bold It's going to be true. So our text is going to be bold. Then color. So I'm just gonna copy this here, the one we put in our icon, like this. So now we need to navigate to our app folder, then open any.py. So we need to import this navigation button. So right here, I'm gonna say import. What did we call it? Need to get rid of this. Okay. So navigation tab from widgets dot buttons dot like this. Okay, so let's go back to 1.kv. Then we can just work on editing our ending our navigation buttons. Right. So underneath this space in here, when I say navigation tab, then when I say icon, let's just say plus for now. I just want to see if the whole thing was working or not. Plus, then text. Let's the first one. Let's just say dashboard. Let's just call it dashboard. Then state. So the state of this one is going to be down. Then group. So we're just gonna group all our navigation buttons under one group. So we're just gonna call this navigation like this. Then let's not add or any on state just yet because we don't have the screens or inside our main window just yet. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it 5 times like this. So let me get rid of this state down here. Okay. So I'm just gonna put an empty box layout underneath our navigation tab so that it pushes our navigation tabs upwards like this. So let me just run this and see how this looks. Okay, what seems to be the problem? Okay, let's now go back to buttons.py. So this here, this is missing here. Okay. Let's run this again. Okay, so we have our navigation buttons there. So the whole thing is working just fine. Okay, so this is looking okay, but we need to add some spacing between the logo and this button. So maybe we need to add like 50 display pixels of nothing between these two. Then we're just gonna see which kind of buttons are we gonna add here. So now let's navigate back to our text editor. Okay, so let's navigate to home.kv, right? So our first button is going to be a dashboard. And the second one, we need to say, let's start with the teachers. Control Z. Okay, I mean the wrong thing. Okay, so this is going to be teachers. Then this should be students. This should be parents. Then we should have classes. Like this. I believe we should have subjects. Then we're gonna have what did I just do here? Classes. So this should be subjects. I don't believe there's an icon called subject, so I'm just gonna leave this empty here. Here I'm gonna put results like this. I think we should add exams. So let's just put it here in the bottom. It's fine. So this is going to be exams. Then we should have notices like this. Okay. So let me just run this and see how it's looking. Okay. So we forgot to put some space here, so let's just do that now. Okay. So yeah. So we need to up this spacing to 40 display pixels. Whoa. Control Z. I just edited it. Keys should be 40. Okay, so this is looking much better now. So now we need to add our icons and make sure everything is looking okay. And this black color, I just think is a little bit too much. You can just make it a little bit faint so that it blends well with the gray here. So it doesn't have to like sort of like stand out and shout because I don't think it's looking okay. So let's go back to buttons.py. Then this here, let's say 0.7. Okay, this is much better. So this also needs to be changed to 0.7 like this. Then I'll go back to home. This here. I say color 0.0.0.7. Okay, so this is looking much better. So now we need to start adding our icons. So here, let's just say account tie like this. Then this year, we're just going to say graduation cap. Parents, we're going to say account group. And then subjects. Subjects, let's just add a book. What did I just do here? Parents. This should be here. In classes we just say classroom. Then subjects. Let me just say the book here. For results, let's try trophy. Then for exams, if you had a pencil, let's say pencil. Then for notices, let's put a megaphone here. Okay, save this, then run it. Okay, so we need to change icons for notices, classes, and students. Okay. So for notices, right? Let's add a bell here. Let's say announcement. Do they still have this icon in Kivy? Let me just check. They don't. So let's just say bell here. Then what was the other one? Classes and students. Okay. Classes and students. So here let's just say account child with this. We should put this on students. Then classes, let's say book variants. Okay, this is looking okay. So now we need to do the dashboard. This should be via dashboard. Okay. So I believe sidebar is working okay. So now we need to work on the main window. Then once we're done with the main window and we've added our screens, we're just gonna connect our navigation tabs to the screens that we're gonna be switching whenever we click on the navigation tab. Okay. So classes and subjects, the icons are similar. So we need to make one of them outline. So classes, book variant. Hope there's an outline version of this icon. There isn't one. Let's try book outline. Okay, better. So now let's start working on our main window. Okay, so we need to get rid of this here. So the whole window is just gonna have some padding of 10 display pixels, right? So inside this main window, we're just gonna put a box layout. And when I give this box layout some size int y of none and some height of 35 display pixels. Then I'm gonna give it some spacing of, let's say, 10 display pixels like this, right? Um, Inside of box layout, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna add icons. We need to add the logout icon, then notifications, messages, a search bar. Yeah. So here we're gonna put an MD label. Then gonna give it some text. So our third sequence will be root dot text, right? So we need to control D this, navigate to 1.py. We already have these. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So here it's root, it's user, control C. So we need to change this to root dot user like this. Okay, fine. Then we need to say H align. We need to align our text to the right side. Then we need to say font Style, so font style is going to be label, and row is going to be medium, and the text, we're not gonna make it bold, we're just gonna leave it like this. Right. So next to our box layout, underneath our box layout, we need to add another box layout. So here we're gonna say box layout, size int x, set it to none, and our width, excuse me, when I set it to self.height. So when I make this square, we don't need these quotes here. So here let's just say canvas dot before, then color RGBA, so this is going to be white like this. Then here when I say rounded rectangle, cause going to be self.cause, then size is going to be self.size, then radius is going to be 5,5,5,5. Then here we're gonna say source. So this is going to be a root dot, let's look, open home.py. So it's avatar, okay? So this is going to be root dot avatar like this. Next to avatar, we need to add some icons. So here I'm gonna say box layout. So I'm just gonna copy everything here. Then paste it 3 times. So I'm gonna get rid of this source like this, and we need to change these box layouts to float layouts. So these going to be float layouts like this. So inside this first for excuse me, we need to change the colors of this box layout. So here let's just say F1. Let's make it F5 like this. Okay. So okay, fine. I can just make these at the same time. So here I'm gonna put MD icon buttons like this. So the icon, the first icon is going to be, so for the purpose of this, I'm just gonna add one icon for the 3 of them. Then when I'm done making these 3 at the same time, I'm just gonna go back and edit them one by one. So this one, I'm just gonna say logout like this. Then theme, text, color. So this is going to be custom because we're gonna use our own colors here. Then text, color. For now, let's just set it to black, right? Then we're gonna play around with the colors to see which color looks best with our system. Okay. Then we're gonna say pause int. We're gonna put curly braces. So inside here, we're gonna say center x, and we're gonna set this to 0.5, comma, then center y. We're gonna set this to 0.5 also. So this is going to be at the center of our float layouts, right? Like this. So let me try and run this and see how it looks for now. Okay, what seems to be the issue? Raw medium. Where did we put raw? Okay, this should be in quotes like this. Okay. So what we need to do here, right? We need to add a box layout and I need this box layout here. So I'm gonna add a box layout here. Then inside this box layout, I'm gonna add a screen manager like this. Um, Let me just do this here and comment these out. Let me just remove them for now. Okay. So now we have our icons here. So we need this one should be log out. We can leave it like this. And this one is going to be messages and this one will be notifications. So this one is going to be bare outline like this. And this one should be mail. So let me run this. I don't like that message, that icon. Okay, so message, let's see how this looks. Okay. Now I'm gonna try and make it outline. I hope there's an outline variation of to this icon. So this going to be message outline. Okay, like this. Okay, so now we need to add the color. Okay, let's start with this one. So here, theme, text, color. When I set it to custom, then now text, color. So this is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, this is looking better. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it here and here, right? So I'm not gonna add the functions to our icon buttons just yet, because if we add the logout button, right, we haven't created the login or register screens or the splash screen just yet. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Then I'll go work on our screen manager, right? So our screen manager, I'm gonna give you an ID of home screen manager. Screen manager like this. So inside here, we're gonna put 9 screens. So the name of our first screen is going to be dash or underscore screen like this. So let me copy this and paste it 8 more times, right? The second one was, let's look at our, okay, so we have teachers. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We're fine. So the second one is teachers. So after teachers, we should have students. students, then parents, classes, subjects, results. I need to paste it one more time. So after results, we have exams. Then we have notices like this. So now we need to link these to our navigation menu, right? So we need to link these to this here. So here I'm gonna say on state, right? So go screen underscore manager dot current. So this is going to, let's say if we press the notices navigation tab, right, it's gonna display the notices screen onto the screen, onto our main template, right, our home template. So this one is going to be, so we called it notices underscore screen. So I'm just gonna copy this line here and paste it. So I'm gonna control this one like this, right arrow and paste here. So this is going to be a results screen. This is going to be subjects. This is going to be classes. This is going to be parents. Students. Teachers. And this is going to be dashboard. Like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add buttons with text inside our screens, right? So that we can see if the navigation is working. And then when we're going through, we're proceeding with the tutorial, right? Whenever we say, let's say we start making a teacher's screen, that's when we're gonna get rid of the button inside our teacher screen. Then we start working on the whatever the display that's going to be in our teacher screen, right? So inside here, I'm gonna add a button, just like those old Kivy buttons, the gray buttons. So this one is going to be text, okay, and this is going to be dashboard. So you can do this or you can leave it. It's fine. I'm just doing it so that it's going to be easier for us to remember what's happening and to see if our navigation is working properly. Okay. So this is going to be notices. This is going to be exams. This is going to be results. This is going to be subjects. And this is going to be classes. This is going to be parents. And this is going to be students. This is going to be teachers. And this is going to be dashboard like this. Okay. So let's run our app. Okay, so we have our dashboard, teachers, students, parents, classes, subjects, results, exams. Uh, okay, so we need to fix exams and notices. Exams and notices. Okay, let's go back to our navigation. So this should be exams. Okay, right. Notices, exams. Okay, so now we can start working on our dashboard, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so let's open our terminal, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this create screen.py here, right? So here I'm gonna say cd views, and inside when we enter views, I'm gonna say Python create underscore screen.py, and gonna say dashboard, the name of our screen. So this Python file creates screens for us. Okay, so dashboard has been created successfully. So let me minimize this. So inside of home.py, I'm gonna change the screen here to dashboard like this. Then inside of ini.py, right here, I'm gonna say import dashboard from views dot dashboard, import dashboard like this. So our dashboard has been imported, right? So let's navigate back to home.kv and let's get rid of this button here. Minimize this. Okay. What do we need to do here? What do we need to do here? Okay. So let's navigate to our home. What just happened here? Okay, so our terminal was still connected to a previous project I was working on, right? So let me just close this and restart this whole thing. Okay, so now we have LMS here. Okay, sorry about that. So cd views here, right? So let me just press up. Okay, nice. So we have dashboard inside of views.py here. So let me get rid of this. So to start, I'm just gonna open dashboard.kv, right? Then inside this dashboard.kv, I think I'm gonna have 3 horizontal box layouts. The first one is gonna show like the number of students that we have, the number of teachers, number of parents, and the earnings the school has made, right? But we can skip the earnings part. But okay, we'll see about that when we get there. Then we're gonna have 2 graphs there, 2 plots. Then at the bottom, we're just gonna see some notices. The notices that we're gonna add inside our notice screen, right? So they're gonna be displayed at the bottom. So we're gonna have 3 box layouts laid out vertically. So here, right, I'm gonna say box layouts. So I'm not gonna give this box layout any orientation because by default box layouts have horizontal orientation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give it some size in Y like this. I'm gonna set it to none and then give it some height, 80 display pixels. Yeah, we're gonna give this some spacing of 10 display pixels like this, right? So inside this, let me add 2 box layouts underneath here. So I'm gonna say box layout like this. Let me open home.kv, right? So I'm looking for some canvas. Okay, let me check here. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna copy this. Then I'm gonna paste it inside our dashboard. I'm gonna paste this here like this. Paste. Um, let me do this. So this here, I'm just gonna say RGBA. So this is going to be hashtag F5 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 like this, right? So this needs to be 5 and this needs to be 5. So I'm gonna paste this one more time like this, right? So if we run this, right? Okay, let me just run this real quick. Okay, so if you can see, right, we have these two really faint boxes, right? So the bottom box is where we're gonna see all our notices, like our announcements, our school announcements, exam announcement, and all of that stuff, right? And then in this box layer, the one on top, the first one we're gonna have graphs. So this one we're gonna divide it into two. So for now, it's just acting as a placeholder, but we're gonna add two graphs in there, right? So let's work on this empty upper part, white part here. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put a box layout in like this. Then I'm gonna say orientation. Orientation, I'm gonna set it to vertical like this. I'm gonna give this some size. We do need to add some size and even the height and width, we're just gonna leave it like that. So the height is gonna be determined by the main box layout here. So this one is going to be 80, right? And the width. So whenever, let's say someone has a larger screen and someone has a smaller screen, right? So these boxes will just tries to match the available space on someone's screen, right? So this one is going to be padding, right? So I think I'm gonna set the padding to let's just set it to 10 display pixels. 10 display pixels. We're not gonna add some spacing in there. So inside this box layout, I'm gonna add a box layout here. Okay, what's happening now? Okay, box layout. Then I'm gonna give this box layout some size and Y, which I'm gonna set to none. And our height is going to be 35 display pixels like this. Then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a float layout here. Float layout like this. So I'm gonna say size and X. I'm gonna set it to none, and the width I'm gonna set it to self.height. So this is going to be a square, right? So inside here, should we add some color to this float layout? Let's leave it like this. So inside here, we're gonna add an MD icon like this. Okay, so icon is going to be, so let's go back to our home.kv and look at the icons we used here. So for students, we used account child. So I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, paste it here. Then let's go back. I think we need buttons.py. So I'm just gonna copy everything here. Paste it here. Get rid of this and this. So we're just gonna leave it like this. Okay. So under this float layout, I'm gonna put an empty label like this, right? Okay, so then I'm gonna say text. Text is going to be students. H align. So let's align this to the right. So this is going to be right like this. Then font style. So font style, we're gonna set it to label. Raw is going to be medium like this, and bold, I'm gonna set it to true. So here we're gonna maintain this grayish, dark gray color here like this. Okay, so underneath this main box layout, I'm gonna add a box layout. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it here. Tab this in backwards, so shift tab. Okay, so our text is going to be root dot students like this. So I'm gonna copy this, then go to dashboard.py. So I'm gonna paste it above our on enter function. So this is going to be students is equal to, so let's say make this numeric property like this. So for now, I'm just gonna put a 0 here. Okay, so let's navigate back to our dashboard. So we need to put this inside the string function. Control Z, okay. str, open parentheses, close parentheses, like this. Okay, this should be looking good. So we need to give this a light grayish color, right? So here we'll put the canvas. Okay, here it is. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it here. Okay, so let me just run this and see how this looks. Okay, okay, this is looking good. So now we need to add 3 more boxes. So I'm gonna copy this from here. Another thing we can do, right, is you can create just like a card, right, inside our widgets folder. Then we can just code that card, and we don't have to put a lot of code inside our dashboard.kv. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna navigate our widgets, right? So we don't have cards. We're just gonna create a new folder here. New file, man. So this is going to be cards. So cards.py. So here, right, let me just press, okay, create some space here. So I'm gonna say class. So I'm gonna call this user card like this. So this is going to be a box layout. Okay. So we're gonna need the icon. So we're gonna need an icon. It's going to be a string property. Like this. Get rid of this. Okay. So we're gonna need some text here. So this is going to be a string property also. Then we're gonna need the figures. So I'm gonna say num. Okay. So this is going to be a numeric property like this. So okay, let's leave it like this for now. So here we need to create so we're gonna say builder. So we need builder from kivy.lang. Okay, kivy.lang import builder. Okay, fine. So builder dot load string. So here I'm gonna say, let me copy this and paste it here. So let me go back to dashboard.kv and select from here to here. Then go back to cars.py and I'm gonna paste it here. Right, like this. Okay, get rid of this box layout here. Okay, so our icon is going to be root dot icon like this. Our text is going to be text, so this is going to be root dot text like this, and this is going to be root dot num like this, right? So we need to import this user card here. So we're gonna navigate to init.py. So let me put it here. Import user card widgets dot cards like this. Okay, this should be fine. So let's navigate back here. So okay, right here I'm gonna paste this here. Then I'm gonna say icon. So our icon for the students was account child like this. Then text, I'm gonna say students. Then num, we're gonna say root dot, what do we call this? Root dot students like this. Okay, so let me paste it 2 more times. Hope we don't get any errors. So let's run this. Okay, as you can see, our cards, our user cards are looking great. So now let's go back to our text editor. Okay, so I'm gonna paste this one more time here. Then I'm gonna get rid of this here. So what I'm gonna do is, this is going to be account. So let's look at our app. So we're gonna have students, teachers, then parents. So students, teachers, then parents, right? Here we can add weekly earnings, but we're going to have a graph of this, right? So let's just put it, let's just say earnings, or we can say classes. So we can put classes and subjects here. But nah, let's just leave it at earnings. But classes and subjects would be cool though. So let's put classes and subjects. So this is going to be classes, and this will be subjects. Okay. So let me add these inside our dashboard.py file. So this is going to be teachers, parents, subjects, and classes like this. So let's get rid of these two here. Go back to dashboard.kv. So this is going to be subjects. This is going to be classes, parents, and this is going to be teachers like this. So I'm just gonna add some random numbers here. So I'm gonna add 20 classes, um 35 subjects. So let's make these 22 classes, 35 subjects, um 125 parents, um 28 teachers, then 530 students. Let's just say 521. So we're just gonna take the parents number from the verse. So 521 like this. So let's run this and see how this looks. Okay, so now we need to change the icons now. Right. So if anything goes in this tutorial, right, I'm just creating this from scratch. So I have an idea from something I was working on before, right, for another client. So I just thought like I should make this and upload it. Since I was like back in like 2020, I wanted to create something like this and I couldn't find something similar on YouTube. So I'm creating this now so that I can help someone one day. Okay. So now let's change these icons. So control, let's just minimize this here. Home.kv. Okay. For teachers, parents, it was account group, control C. Like this. So for no, this one should be here. Teachers, we say the account type. Okay. Like this. So we need classes and subjects. Book outline. And this year is just going to be book like this. So let's run this and see how this looks. Okay, so this is looking good. So what we need to do, right, is we need to put two graphs here, right? So what we're gonna do here is in this middle box layout, this empty box layout, I'm gonna divide it into two. The left one is just gonna take like 2/3 of the box layout, and the other one is gonna take in 1/3. So the one on the right, we're just gonna put something like a pie chart, right? So this is just gonna show like the ratio between like boys as to girls. So let's say we have 60 girls in our school and 40 boys in our school, right? Then the one on the left is just gonna display earnings for the whole year, right? So we might make it a plot or we might make it a bar chart, but for now let's just make sure that we divide this box layout into two. Then we can see what we can do from there. So back in Python, right? So I'm going to minimize this, navigate to the, okay, need to be in this folder here. Okay, so this box layout, right? I'm gonna say um spacing, I'm gonna say to 10 display pixels, right? Then I'm gonna put a box layout here. So box layout, right? So let me just put two box layouts. So I'm gonna give this some padding of 10 display pixels. Then I'm gonna tape this inside. I'm gonna give this some size int x. So I'm gonna say size int x. So this is going to be none. Control not none. This should be 1/3. So this is gonna take the third of the whole box layout, right? And I need to add some spacing in here. So spacing is going to be 10 display pixels also, like this. Okay, let's copy this and paste it here. So this is going to be 2/3, like this. So let's run this and see how this looks. Okay, this is looking okay, but I'm thinking of reducing the bottom box layout, right? I'm just gonna reduce the size, but for now let's just work on it. So let's just continue, then we can see if we can add something or remove something, right? So inside the first box layout, right, we need to put an MD label. So text is going to be let's say earnings. So we're just gonna leave it like this. The alignment is going to be aligned to the left by default, so we're gonna leave it like this, and the color is going to be black. So what we can do here is we can say font style, right? So our font style is going to be label, and raw is going to be medium, and bold is going to be true. So we need to give this a size int. So size int y, I'm gonna set it to none, and the height, I'm gonna set it to 35 display pixels, like this. Okay. Then underneath that one, I'm just gonna put a box layout. Then I'm gonna give this box layout an ID. An ID, let's just call it earnings chart, like this. Okay. So we need to make the orientation here vertical. Orientation vertical, like this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this orientation and I'm gonna paste it here. Then I'm gonna copy these two here. Okay, so this is going to be gender. Okay, so just gonna call it gender chart. Um, the label now, let's just call it students or this. Um, here we might need to have some colors, right? More like a key. That's gonna explain the, let's say, uh colors for girls and colors for boys. So our system will just use in blue. So what you can do is you can just say maybe we'll make the boys blue and the girls will just find another color. So I'm thinking which color could use for the girls, right? So but underneath this box layout, we need to add two box layouts. Or we can have one box layout, right, and have two labels in it, and each label has its own color. To so the boys' color will be blue, and the girls' color is gonna be like orange, or I don't know which color we can use here, but let's use orange. So here I'm gonna create another box layout, right? Then I'm gonna give it some size, and I'm gonna use this one, get rid of this ID here, like this. We don't need to put some spacing in here, so I'm gonna copy this label and paste it twice. Then I'm gonna select those two labels, then tab them inside like this, right? So need to get rid of this height here. Control D like this, then remove both of them at the same time. So this one is going to be boys. So I'm just gonna do arrange this alphabetically. So boys, then girls, not like this. Excuse me. Um okay. So bold. So we need to add some alignment here. So we're gonna say H align, right? So the girl's gonna be aligned to the right. So this is going to be right, and color. Let me just leave it like this. Okay, so this is going to be 00966C7. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go onto my phone and ask Meta to see if the AI can give me a good orange color X code. Okay, so for the orange color for girls, right? I'm just gonna say hashtag. So the color that I was given was FFA07A, like this, right? So I'm just gonna run this and see if this looks okay. Okay, it's actually good. It's actually a good color. Um, colors, right? For the endings graph also. So okay, let me just copy this box layout, this one here. Then I'm gonna paste it underneath here. So we need to have income and expenses. So this is going to be income, and this is going to be expenses, like this. So let's run this. Okay, so this should be okay. And the last one was notices, right? So we're just gonna create and just put it in there. Then we're gonna work on our graphs. So in the final box layout, right? We're gonna add a label. So we're gonna copy this label and we're gonna paste it here. So we need to shift tab this. Okay. Then underneath that one, we need to put a box layout, right? Then inside this box layout, we need to add a scroll view. So we need to say bar width. So right here, we're trying to get rid of the scroll bar, like the one that usually get on the right side, right? So when I say bar width is equal to 0 and bar color, right? So we're just gonna make sure that if it's not removed, it's gonna be transparent, so that this makes sure that whenever, let's say, the bar width doesn't work, the bar color is going to be transparent, so it's not going to be visible by any means. So here when I say 0, 0, 0, 0, right, then we're going to say size and y, so we're going to set this to none, and our height is going to be self dot minimum height, like this. Okay, so inside our scroll view, we're gonna add a grid layout like this, right? And we're gonna say, we're gonna give this grid layout an ID. So the ID is going to be, let's just say, dash underscore notices underscore list, like this. Then we're gonna say calls. So this is going to be one. So we're just gonna have one displayed, and the other one's gonna be displayed at the bottom. Then we're gonna say size and y. We're gonna set this to none, and height. We're gonna set this to self dot. Okay, we misspelled this one. Self dot minimum height. So I'm just gonna copy this. So the size of the grid layout and the scroll is gonna be determined by the things, by the items or widgets inside our grid layout. So we're gonna give this grid layout some spacing. So let's set it to 10 display pixels, like this. Okay. This is looking okay. So now what we need to do, right? Okay, this needs to be changed to, should we say announcements? So let's just say announcements, like this. Announcements. Yeah, so let's run this and see how this looks. It seems to have a problem here. Self dot minimum height. Scroll view is object has no attribute minimum height. So we need to change this to self dot parent dot height. So self dot parent dot height. So this should work. Okay. We need to change this box layouts orientation to vertical. So here when I say orientation for vertical, like this. Okay, so right here, right? Anything else we might need to do to this, right? We can do it inside the dashboard dot py file. I mean, right? We need to give this box layout some padding. We need to give it some padding of 10 display pixels. Okay, so underneath the orientation, we're gonna say padding is going to be 10 display pixels, like this. Okay, so now let's go to our dashboard.py. All right. So here we need to say define. I'm gonna create a function. I'm just gonna call it run essentials. Right, because the thing is on enter functions, right, sometimes it runs and sometimes it doesn't, right? So what I usually do is I usually inside the on enter function I call in the kivy.clock. So I just like each time the on enter function runs, the kivy.clock runs this run essentials function, then all of the functions that we need to be running whenever we display a screen, we're just gonna put it inside this run essentials function. So here we're gonna say self comma dt. Then for now we're just gonna say pass, right? And inside this one enter function I'm gonna say clock dot schedule once. Then inside here I'm gonna say self dot run essentials. I'm gonna get rid of this parentheses, comma 0.1. So this is just gonna take 0.1 of a second. So this is going to be called immediately. So it's gonna call this run essentials function immediately. So we need to import this clock here. So we're gonna import this from kivy.clock. Okay. Okay, so we need to make a few imports here. Okay. So here we're gonna say import numpy as np, right? And we need to import matplotlib pyplot as plt like this. Then we need to say from kivy underscore garden dot matplotlib dot backend underscore kivy. Is this the right spelling? Yeah. If we get any errors, we're just gonna correct them. So we need to import figure converse kivy like this as fck. Okay, so what we need to do, right? Underneath our run essentials function, I'm gonna say define show students underscore chart. So the charts I'm gonna put here, right? I took my own charts, right? Then I put them inside ChatGPT and it added a few tricks in there. So I hope this looks okay. So I haven't checked it out yet, so we're just gonna check it out together. So here, right, what I'm gonna do, right, is let's say male percentage. Yeah. So we're just gonna put it at let's say 45. Because in most schools, right, even when I was in school, even back in kindergarten, like there were more girls inside our schools, like ever. Like I haven't seen a school with more girls than boys. So I'm just gonna put the male percentage at 45. All right. Let's make it 44. Then female percentage. Then we're gonna set this to 56%. All right. So we need to create our figure here. So we're gonna say fig, comma, ax is equal to plt dot subplots config size. So let's say 4,4 here, right? Comma subplot. So here we're saying projection. Like this. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna convert our percentages to radians, right? So here we're gonna say total is equal to male percentage plus female percentage. So male percentage plus female percentage, like this. So we're gonna say male angle here is equal to, so let's put open parentheses here. So we're gonna say male percentage divided by total multiplied by 360, right? So we're gonna put these inside male percentage divided by total inside parentheses, because if you just put them in one line, right, total is going to be multiplied by 360, then the male percentage is going to be divided by the total. So we're going to make sure that we divide male percentage first, then we're going to multiply it by 60. So here we're going to say total, then we're going to multiply everything by 360, like this. So I'm going to copy this, and here when I say female, like this. Okay. So now we need to define our colors, right? So you want to say colors is equal to, right? So we say the male color was that blue color, the blue color. So 0096C7. Then the female color. So let's navigate back to dashboard.kv. Okay, so I'm gonna Control D this, Control C, then paste it here. So now we need to plot the chart to a semi-cycle, right? So here I'm gonna say wedges, comma, underscore is equal to, so here I'm gonna say ax.pi. So inside this pi, right, first I'm gonna say male angle and female angle. And this should be female angle and female percentage, right? Then we're gonna say start angle. Let's set it to 125 degrees. Okay. What seems to be the problem here? Okay, you need to get rid of this parentheses here. Then we're gonna put it here, like this. Okay. We need to put our colors. So we're gonna say colors is equal to colors, like this. Then we need to say radius. So let's set our radius to 1.2. Then counter clock. Just gonna set this to false. Then wedge props. So here inside here, when I say width, then let's just set it to 0.5. 3, right? Okay. So what once we were done with this, right? I'll try turning this counter clock to true and see how it's gonna look, right? Because I just got an idea now. But anyways, let me just continue with this. So now what we need to do down here. So let me just create some space. Okay. So what we need to do down here, right? We need to remove grid and labels, right? So here I'm gonna say ax dot set x ticks. So I'm just gonna put an empty list here. So I'm gonna control C and control V this. So then change this to y ticks. Then I'm gonna say ax dot spines dot clear. Then open parentheses like this. So what we need to do now is add our plot to Kivy, right? So that's what we're gonna do now. So what we need to do here when I say self dot IDS dot, so this was the, okay, let me just go back here. Gender chart, Control D, Control C, paste this here, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna say clear widgets, like, so that before we add our chart, right, we're just gonna make sure that we clear the gender chart ID. Now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna say self dot IGS. This should be a dot, not a comma. Dot gender chart dot add underscore widget FCK figure canvas Kivy. Then we're gonna put parentheses. Then inside they're gonna say PLT. Let's just try and add fig, right? Like this. Okay. So we need to code this. So I'm gonna control D this and put it in here. And then inside our run essentials, I'm gonna say self control V, then parentheses like this. So this should run. So let me just run this. Wow, chat looks horrible. It looks horrible. Okay, fine. Let's play around with it. Let's just turn it into a pie chart. Then you're just gonna get rid of this background color here. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna control C this, control V, right? Then I'm gonna comment this out. So I wanna try something. I wanna get rid of these here. Alright. Then run this again. Right, okay. So this is looking much better. But now we need to get rid of this background color here. Right. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so yeah, let's try this. So when I say ax dot set underscore face color, just gonna set this to none. I hope this works. So let's run this again. Uh, that didn't work, so we need to find another method. Okay. What we can try is we're gonna say fig dot page dot set phrase color. Let's set it to 0 if this doesn't work. One tuple float string. So let's set it to none. So let's Control C, Control V this, and this should be AX like this. So I'm gonna get rid of this here, right? If this doesn't work, I'm gonna change set phrase color to set alpha. Then I'm gonna remove none and put 0. So let's just run this. Okay, so this worked, right? And it's looking good. Okay. Let's proceed. Okay, so now we need to work on our show earnings chart. So here I'm gonna say define show earnings charts like this. Okay. What am I doing now? Then inside there, I'm just gonna say pause. Okay, we shouldn't say pause here, so you need to say months, right? So we're just gonna put in a list here. So I'm gonna say January. So let me copy this. So the second one is going to be Feb. Third one is going to be March. Fourth one is going to be April. Fifth one is going to be May. Sixth one is going to be June. Seventh one is going to be July. Eighth one is going to be August. Ninth one is going to be September. 10th one is going to be October. 11th one is going to be November and December here. So we're gonna get rid of the rest here like this. Okay. So now we need to also we need some sample data, right? So we need sample data of earnings here. So I need earnings, right? So when I say NP, so we're gonna call on Numpy. When I say random rand int like this. So when I say 10 here, then 50 like this. Then size, I'm just gonna set this to 12 for now. Then excuse me, we're just gonna play with it if we're gonna reduce it or increase it. So the second one was expenses. Okay, so let's just maintain the same here. So now we need to do is we're gonna say x is equal to np dot range then inside here we're gonna say okay, this should have one r here. And inside here, excuse me, I'm gonna say length, open parentheses, months, yeah, just like this. Then we'll say width is equal to 0.3. We can say 0.35, but let's start with 0.35. Then if it's too much, we're just gonna reduce it. Okay. So now we need to create our figure and axis, right? So we're gonna say fig, comma, ax is equal to plt dot subplots like this. So here we're gonna say x dot bar, then we're gonna open parentheses here, then we're gonna say x minus width. This should be width divided by 2. Yeah. Then when I say earnings like this, then width, comma, label is equal to earnings like this, then color. So our earnings will say we're gonna make them blue, right? So this is going to be hashtag 00966C7, yeah, right? So I'm gonna control C this, then control V. So the next one here, we're just gonna make this one expenses like this, right? Then we need to change this to expenses here. Then we need to change the color also. So I'm gonna copy this here and paste it here, right? Okay. So now for our labels, the titles, right? We're gonna say ax dot set x label. Right, so we should have an underscore here like this, and there was a typo here. So when I say set x label, and this is going to be months, we might as well just do what we did here. Just make sure we don't have x labels, and we don't have x ticks, x labels. What? But let's just do this first. If it doesn't look good, that's when we're gonna get rid of them. So now we're gonna say months. So I'm gonna control C this, control V. Then the Y label is going to be amount like this. So it's going to be amount. So we need to set title. We don't need a title, so we need X ticks, right? So now we need to do this here. So this is going to be ticks, right? So here we need to put X here, right? Then for Y ticks, so this should be X tick labels. Let's try this. And we're gonna put months here. We might have to get rid of all these, all right? Because I don't think our spacing is gonna be big enough for all this stuff. But anyways, let's just do it. Then if it's not looking okay, we're gonna get rid of it. So I'm gonna say X legend here, parentheses like this. So now what we need to do, we need to copy this. I need to put my phone on silent real quick. Okay. Now let's proceed. Okay. Let's go back to dashboard.kv. So this was earnings chart. Okay. Fine. So now we need to get rid of spines here. So when I say ax dot spines, so top, when dot set visible, set underscore visible like this, parentheses, then false like this. Control C, Control V. Then right, going to be false. Bottom, Then this one should be left like this. Okay. Let's try running this. So okay. We need to get rid of this line here. Right. Let me try maximizing this. Okay. So we always want to have this part. Okay, I see. So what we can do is get rid of these ticks here. All of them. Get rid of this. Then make the background transparent like we did with our pie chart here. So let's go back to our okay. So first, right, I'm just gonna do this and comment these out, right? And let's run this again. Okay. So this should be right here. So let me just copy what we did here. Right. Okay, so this is looking much better. But now we need to get rid of this and this. Okay, so let's scroll upwards and we're gonna copy these two here. And we're gonna paste them right here. Okay. So what we need to do is this should be y ticks like this, right? Okay, let's run this. Okay, and this, so we need to get rid of these two. What? We have to brush up on my Matplotlib real soon. But anyways, let's run this now. I think now it should be looking better. Okay, so here is our bar charts, right? So we can get rid of this because we already have expenses and income down here. So now I'm gonna do this. I believe our budget is looking okay now. So we can proceed and work on the bottom part. Okay. So now we can work on our announcement, right? So we're gonna have to create a custom widget for our announcement down here, right? Okay. So let's do that just now. So underneath here, I'm gonna put a function. Show underscore announcements like this. Okay. So I'm gonna put pass for now. So we need to add this to our essentials function, right? So I'm gonna say self dot show announcements like this. And we need to add our announcements here. So I'm gonna say announcements like this, and this is going to be a list property like this. Right, so we need to import this. Okay, like this. So now, right, what we need to do is we need to navigate to our widgets folder. Let me bring this in. Okay, this looks much better. So we're gonna navigate to our widgets folder, then open tabs.py. Right. So what we're gonna do here is underneath here, right? We're gonna create I'm gonna call it a tab, right? So this is where we're gonna see each announcement that we have, right? So it's gonna show the date and the details, right? So I don't think we'll need to put time in this one, but let's just put a date, then the details, right? So I'm gonna say here I'm gonna say class. So I call this notice tab like this, right? So this is going to be a box layout. So what we might do here is we can make it clickable, right? But so since this is going to appear in the dashboard, right? So we're just gonna leave it like this. So let's just make it a box layout. Then when we are making the notice screen, right, we're gonna make the tab that's gonna put there, we're gonna make it clickable. So this one, let's just make it a box layout. So this one is just gonna display information. It's not gonna be clickable or do anything. So here we're gonna need a date, right? So date, let's just say string. Then we're gonna say details here. The details is also going to be a string property like this. So let me control D, control C this. Okay. So here I'm just gonna put some. We don't need to put some orientation, but let's give it a size int y. So size int y, we're gonna set this to none, and our height, let's set this to 40 display pixels. 40 display pixels, and I'm gonna put some padding. Let's give it from the left and right. Let's put 10 display pixels. Then the top and bottom, let's put I'm thinking of putting 2.5, right? So that the padding is just gonna be five display pixels. Then we're gonna have more room to, let's say if we put too much details and text has to overlap and appear at the bottom. But let's put it at 2.5 display pixels. Right. So I'm gonna put a square bracket here. And I'm gonna put another one here. Right. So let's give this some spacing. Let's make it 10 display pixels. Right. So we're gonna give this a white background. So we're gonna say canvas dot before, then color, then RGBA. So we're gonna make this white. So 1,1,1,1 like this. Then we're gonna say rounded rectangle because we're gonna put some rounded edges here. So pause is going to be self.pause. Then size is going to be self.size. Then radius, we're gonna set this to 5,5,5,5. So we're just gonna maintain a radius of 5 display pixels like this. So inside here, right, we're gonna put two MD labels. So MD label here. Then text. Text is going to be root dot date like this. Then our font style. So font style is going to be label. Then our row, gonna set it to medium, right? So we're not gonna make this bold here. Let's give this some size int. So size int x. I'm gonna set this to, let's just set it to 10% of the whole screen that we have available. So here it should be, let's put it 15. So when I say 0.15 like this, so I'm gonna copy this, then paste it underneath here. So this is going to be 0.85, and this is going to be root details like this. All right. So our notice tab is done. So what we need to do is go back to dashboard.py. Then down here, right, we're just gonna get rid of this parse here. So here we're gonna say self dot announcements, right? So when I say this to empty, so okay, I'm gonna explain why I said this to empty after I've done with this function and the one that follows up with this one. So here, right, I'm gonna say announcements like this. So this one I'm gonna create a list, right? So this list and the one above it are two different lists. So the one on top here is the one we put on top of our onEnter function. It's this one. But this one here, we're just gonna use it in this function. But when we are dealing with the backend, whenever we're done creating this user interface, right, we're just gonna get rid of this function, this list that I'm creating now. And then we're gonna make sure we fetch the information from the database. So here I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like this, right? So what we're trying to do here is make sure that we're gonna have 8 entries in our in our UI on our dashboard, right? So here, right, I'm gonna say for, let's just say for X in announcements, right? Like this. So what we're gonna do here, right? I'm gonna say data is equal to, so let's create a dictionary here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give this an ID, right? So we're just gonna give this one. Let me Control C and paste it 2 more times. So this should be here and this should be here. Okay. So this is going to be date and this is going to be details like this, right? So our date, right? Let's use today's date. So today's the 5th of March, right? So I'm just gonna say 5 March 2025 like this, right? So whenever we are going to be adding our date from our user interface, right? Later on when we're creating the notice screen, right? The date is not gonna appear like this, but for now we're just gonna leave it like this so that we can fix our UI, and then we're gonna fix that part later on. We're working on our backend. So in our details, right, I'm just gonna say, what can we put here? Just gonna say inter schools competition for, let's just say, for fifth graders. Okay, so now that we're done with this, right? Here, what we need to do is we need to append the answer that we have in here, and when I append it inside self.announcements, this, right? So what we're gonna do here is self dot announcements dot append data, like this. Okay, so we're gonna append 8 items into our list, in our self.announcements list, like this. Okay, so now that we're done with this, right, I'm gonna say define on underscore announcements. So what this does is whenever these where's this variable? Okay, whenever this list variable, right, is disturbed, let's say if we add something or remove something, right, we're gonna call this function here. So here when I say on announcements, like this, right, so when I pass in self in here, then when I pass in instance, then we're gonna pass in announcements, like this. Okay, so inside here we're gonna say table, and table is equal to self dot ids dot. So let's navigate to dashboard.kv, right? So I need this one here, so I'm gonna paste it there like this, right? Then I'm gonna say table dot clear widgets. So before we add any widgets, we need to make sure that this table is clear. So we're gonna say clear widgets, right? And by the way, are we getting this errors? Yeah. Oh, okay. So we need to shift tab this like this. Okay. So now we're gonna say for announcements in announcements, like this. So for each announcement in this announcement, right, we're gonna say table row is going to be, so what did we name our, let's go back to tables.py. So we named it notice tab, like this. So when I paste it here, right, so now we're gonna say table row dot id is equal to, so when we're creating our dictionary here, right, we made the id at least a what you call a string, right? But whenever we fetching this from the database, it's not gonna be a string. So we're just gonna say string here, so that whenever we're dealing with the backend, we don't have to have a lot of stuff that we have to fix and change. So now I'm gonna say string, then announcement, square brackets, then inside here I'm gonna say ID, like this. So we need to import this from widgets.tables import. Okay, so control C this, press it 2 times, right? So this one is going to be date, control Z. So let me control D so that we can just change it at the same time. So this is going to be date, and this is going to be details, like this, right? Now we're gonna say table dot and widget, and our widget is going to be table raw. So let's try running this. and see if this worked. Okay. So we need to make a notice tabs pop out a little bit more. So we need to navigate back to PyCharm. Right. Then navigate to tables.py. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to put a box layout right here at the top. I like this. So I'm gonna need this here and this. I don't need the padding. I'm just gonna need the sizing. Okay. So I'm gonna put this up here. Then I'm gonna say padding, and I'm gonna make this one display pixel. Right. So I'm gonna need this also. This canvas dot before. Then I'm gonna paste it here. So our background was F5, 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 right? So right here, I'm gonna put F1, F1, F1. So this is going to be RGBA, put parentheses, open quotes, then hashtag F1, 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 like this, right? So this right here, right, we just have to tab everything inside. Okay, like this. So let's try running it again. I hope this works. Okay. Yeah. So our tabs are looking a lot better and they're popping out a lot more, right? So what we need to do now is we need to work on the other screens.